Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are triple streaming. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming on TikTok, we're streaming on YouTube, and we are streaming on X. Guys, listen, the police are not ready. The UK is in peril. Welfare or warfare? What is the government going to choose? Summer riots, live analysis. You've got it all here for the next hour, ladies and gentlemen. So, guys, listen, I just want to start by this article that was released by GB News a couple of hours ago. I'm just going to read it and then tell me if it resonates with literally exactly the same phrases, the same words that I've been talking about, guys, okay? Police not ready for a second summer of unrest, summer of carnage, as Epping chaos dubbed a signal flare for more protests. Guys, listen, they are literally like the mainstream media, and if you've not followed this channel, ladies and gentlemen, literally the mainstream media, they will talk about things we talk about here, like 2 a month. At the very earliest, they talk about things a month after we've spoken about them. Protesters have already made their voices heard outside multiple asylum hotels last week. Police have warned they are not ready. We're not ready. We're not prepared for another summer of unrest as more protests are expected to follow those in Epping this week. Protesters in the Essex town, which began last weekend, I think it was before that, wasn't it? After a small boat migrant was charged with, you know, the offence that they normally get charged with, have so far seen a total of 10 people arrested. But the unrest has been called a signal flare for more to come by Tiff Lynch. I don't know, Tiff Lynch, the head of the Police Federation. She warned officers were being pulled in every direction. Guys, I've been saying this is coming. I've literally been saying this. She has warned that officers are being pulled in every direction, saying that commanders were forced to choose between keeping the peace at home or plug national gaps. There you have it, guys, okay? Literally, the police are now saying that they don't have the manpower. I've been saying this for quite a while, guys, all right? I don't think this, I just don't see this as, they just don't have the numbers, guys. They do not have the numbers. It's a numbers game, all right? Always go with the numbers. Do you know why? Numbers kind of don't lie. So the numbers are that, guys, all right? The police do not have enough numbers. It's a sheer mathematical equation. Right, the number of police officers involved in local policing has fallen 15% since 2023, from 68,000 to 58,000, according to figures from the Home Office. Lynch said it would be dangerous to assume officers would be able to hold the line. There you go, guys. There you go. It's like, you know, and what this is going to do is this is going to empower people. But listen, I'll read you that again. Where was it? It's dangerous to assume police officers will be able to hold the line indefinitely if violent riots and unrest continue to spread throughout the summer. So what I think she's doing here, I think she's laying the groundwork for a military deployment, guys. I really do. But even with the military, guys, they still don't have the numbers. The numbers are not there, ladies and gentlemen. The numbers are not there. We're talking about millions of people here now, guys. We're not just talking about a few. We are talking about millions of people. The size of this problem, guys, it's absolutely unbelievable. She said it would be comical if it wasn't so serious and so familiar. Local commanders are once again forced to choose between keeping the peace at home or plugging national gaps. The warning comes after Essex police came under fire for their handling of the Epping protest. Footage emerged earlier this week of officers transporting pro-migrant protesters to the Epping Hotel, to the Epping Hotel, around which the unrest had centered. And look, guys, I want to try and be as impartial as possible here, but the police they're in a very difficult position, right? So, if that police commander on the ground, I mean, look, I'm just looking at the picture, guys, and they've got a little person on the front line, and like, I'm looking at this little person with the riot shield, and they're a really small person. I'm thinking, what are they going to stop? Anyway, the police are in a very difficult situation, guys, all right? Because, like, if I was the commander on the ground and somebody came, and one of these protesting groups came up to me and said, hello, mate, can I speak to I don't know, the commanding officer, whatever it's called, the commanding officer, whoever it is. And they came up to me and they said, right, Sean, I have a right to protest. I'd say, yes, you do have a right to protest. They say, if I walk through these people, we're gonna get lynched. So can you give us some security? And I'd be like, oh God, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So the police have come under fire, but you've got to understand how policing works. All right, you've got to understand how policing works. Everybody's got to have the right to protest. So if the police, you can imagine the headlines here, guys. If the police had negated that security and said, "Yeah, we're not gonna let you guys walk in there," or if you walk in there, it's on you. And again, I don't know where I stand with this, guys. I think I would do if I was that commander on the ground. I think I would have taken the exact same position because the police, the military, the government right now, they're in very difficult positions, guys. However, Benjamin Harrington, Chief Constable of Essex Police, denied these suggestions, while a spokesperson for the force called them categorically wrong. Speaking to GB News, Harrison said, we had officers there and they likely walked alongside to make sure they understood so they could intervene and prevent crime. Yeah, and I do think that, and I do think, guys, listen, it's very easy to be critical of the police when they do something wrong. It's very difficult when you're on the ground, guys. It's very difficult when you're on the ground and you're dealing with a real situation. It's easy to look in at this situation a couple of days afterwards and say, oh yeah, you should have done that, you should have done that. But when you're there, when you're on the ground, when you're scared, when you're nervous, you've got internal politics as well. Making these decisions, guys, all right? So, while I can criticize the police for some things, I won't criticize commanders on the ground for making decisions. They have to make decisions ultimately. That's how it works. Right, but guys, listen, I'm going to come on to the comments, but for the crux of this video, ladies and gentlemen, okay, the UK is in peril. The police are not ready for the summer of carnage. They're openly admitting that now. I think this is going to foster in the first steps towards a military deployment, guys. I really do. I think this is going to be a military deployment this summer in the United Kingdom. We're seeing the numbers, guys, but even with a military deployment, they still don't have the numbers, guys. The numbers are not there, even with a military deployment. The numbers are not there. Right, let me jump as we get you fantastic comments on fantastic comments. I'm gonna go on TikTok, guys, and then I'll try and get as many comments as I can from YouTube. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, in the mornings I will always prioritize the TikTok comments. Good morning, everyone, for joining. We have got Debbie, 1973, Sharon Owen, we've got Silence, Jumase Po, Debbie Doobs, 4 Paws. Everybody's saying good morning, everyone. Guys, isn't it a little bit chilly this morning? A little bit chilly. Kaz is saying good morning, all. So is Jodie Lee. Debbie Doobs is saying, show Sean the love and keep tapping the screen, he says, Debbie Doob. Yeah, guys, can we, I guess we're on now, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we're on. I've been talking for a while. Can we all do those things that help the channel grow? The like, the comment, subscribe, bell notification, all those things, guys, because I really do appreciate each and every one of those little fingers that you guys touch. Really do appreciate them. Look, guys, if you're thinking, and can you share my stuff, guys? Can you share my stuff? Look, I'm not, I've done this for a long time at Strategic Analytics. What we're seeing now, literally, guys, what we are seeing now, the mainstream media are talking about things that we've been talking about for well over a month. I'd say, the police are not ready for another summer for the summer of carnage. Epping Chaos dubbed a signal flare for more protests. I've been talking about this. So the options readily available to the police are The options readily available to the police are, first of all, the military. Bring in the military. That's going to be the first go-to option. That's not a sustainable option, guys. That's not a sustainable option, as we're looking like, news outlets this morning are talking about welfare or warfare. You know, Keir Starmer does look like he's got to build the nation to a war fighting readiness. Sorry, guys, I struggle to say that. I struggle to say that with a straight face. Now, the more sustainable option, ladies and gentlemen, is to bring in private security. There you have it, guys. I've been talking about how I believe that private security are going to be brought into the United Kingdom to backfill the gaps in the police. Now, these guys would be, to start with, these guys would just be brought in to do menial tasks. But over time, ladies and gentlemen, those private security, their mission creep would grow. Let me just try and get this article up, guys, because it is important. Give me a second. Where is it? I can't find it. What was it? Welfare or warfare? Yeah, here we are. Welfare or warfare? Welfare versus warfare. Keir Starmer's unresolved question, and why the Prime Minister's pinned his hopes on economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, when I read this article, I actually thought it was a parody. Guys. I thought it was one of those spoof articles. I had to check my calendar to make sure it's not. It wasn't April the 1st. So the Prime Minister basically knows it's up to him to create the warfare state as Europe rearms. But can the Labour leader balance this with welfare? Like, do you realize how much we spend in this country? Would you know, like, the defense budget is less than the migrant budget? Like, did you guys know that? We spend more on migrants than we do on our own military. Did you know that, guys? Do those numbers make sense to you now? We are spending more on foreign fighting age men, putting them up on hotels in our country, than we are spending on our own fighting age men in barracks. Like, did you guys realize that? Did you guys realize that is an actual thing? Those numbers don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. Those numbers don't lie. So the article goes on, and I'll try and link these in the description, guys. I'll try and link these in the description. Welfare versus warfare. For decades, it's been a question of which successive prime ministers have responded with one answer. And it's always been a cut to the military, guys. The military are so easy to cut. So easy to cut the military. You just go to them and you say, General, yes? Right, you need to make £2 billion worth of cuts. Make it at wherever you need to make it. Yep, when does it need to be in by? Tuesday. Okay, that general will go away and he will come back with those cuts. There you go, done. You go and ask a doctor to do that. You go and ask one of these prima donna doctors, like, who thinks the world revolves around. Listen, guys, I know quite a lot of doctors, and they know I say this to their faces. We've got a problem where, like, and do you know what? I think we should, like, if it was me in charge of the country, and the doctors were striking, I'd say, all right, you want to strike? Right, I'll sack you all then. Oh, but sure, you can't do that. Trust me, I can. Let's see if they want to strike again. And watch how quickly they come back for their jobs. We've got a situation in this country, and I would say I do think the opinion is waning. Look, guys, I can't say I don't trust anyone because I get the live ban. Has anyone ever been misdiagnosed? Has anyone had to deal with a doctor who just, you look at them and you think, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to have to actually Google my symptoms. I remember once I was, this was a lot of years ago, I was talking to a doctor, and he was typing something on the screen, and I thought he'd be like putting, oh, he needs this, he needs that. I managed to catch a glance at the screen. I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, this is, honestly, guys, I kid you not, he was putting my symptoms into Google. Yep, he was. That was what was happening. He was like Google Symptoms Finder or something. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is that, and these doctors are asking for more money. Didn't they just get a massive pay rise? Anyway, sorry guys, I was talking about the military and I went off on a rant on doctors' pay. But like guys, listen, I think doctors, they need to get down to earth. They need to understand that they're not that important anymore. I know a lot of people who've been misdiagnosed. In fact, hang on. How do I put this? Right, I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to get in the live band. I know a friend. His name's Joe. I have a friend called Joe who's doing a parachute jump. It happens quite a lot. People break their collarbones on parachute jumps. He landed. He broke his collarbone. He walked over to the thing. He said, "Listen, I think I broke my collarbone." They're like, "Yeah, you broke your collarbone. Definitely broken it." He got medevaced. He had an operation to reset it or something. He came out missing a piece of skin down below. If you guys know what I'm talking about, like men, pretty much going to know what I'm talking about. So he went in to have his collarbone reset. And he came out missing a piece of skin somewhere. And he didn't complain about it. But I'm thinking, like, how does that go wrong? Like, how do those doctors go to reset your collarbone and think, oh, we're going to chop that off? Like, how does that even happen, guys? So I know there are a lot of stories out there about doctors getting things wrong. And look, guys, when I was in the military, I had to learn a lot of systems. I had to learn a lot of skills. And we couldn't get them wrong. You just did not get them wrong. But anyway, right, let me jump up and get some of these comments, guys, because some of these comments are jumping down. Debbie Doobs is saying it's all part of the bigger plan. That's why unions fail. People have lost power. Yeah, I think so as well. Dodsbra is saying, I got told I had pancreatic cancer as I had a 5-centimeter lesion on my pancreas. It was someone else's results. Wow. I mean, yeah, that is phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal. Dodds Bryce saying, yeah, I went and paid £900 for the private scan and it was clear. Dodds Bryce, did you get your money back for that? Did you get your money back from that? Yeah, look, guys, I don't want to get into this. I'm not getting into the privatization of the NHS, but I think Dodds Bra here is proving my point with competency of doctors. So like that doctor, like, can you imagine right now you've got a doctor, I don't know, Dr. Raven, right? Can you imagine that, Dr. Raven? Yes, come, I give you any operation, $12.99, I do discount 3 for 2. Can you imagine, guys, right, if there was like a doctor at a surgery and that doctor kept getting things wrong? That doctor is always getting things wrong. You're like, oh, Raven, stop telling people the wrong thing. And I'm like, yes, but I'm going home early this weekend. Like, that doctor in the NHS probably gets promoted, probably gets a pay rise. They can stay there as long as they want. That doctor if that was a private company, that doctor would be gone diddly on. That doctor would be gone diddly on, and somebody more competent would be in there, somebody that doesn't make mistakes, and that's how you grow competency. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me get down. I don't want to get into that, guys. I know it's heated. You guys know my thoughts on that. Debbie 1973 is saying, wasted my neck and shoulder pain. Wasted my neck and shoulder pain was due to poor posture. I actually have cervical stenosis. I C7, C8, C6, C7. I don't know what that is. But yeah, listen, guys, there's lots of people on here commenting about NHS and NHS doctors. And listen, they want a pay rise. This is the guys, this is what really gets I don't want to be an NHS. This is not an NHS live stream, guys, okay? The United Kingdom is in peril. The government are choosing welfare over warfare. It doesn't look like we're heading to a global conflict of an industrial scale. The Epping protest, the police are not ready. However, I am just going to get these comments because they are there. Linda Lou is saying, hello, Sean, DeMarie Gen X, good morning. I'm late this morning. What did I miss? We're going to be coming over again what I talked about in a second, guys. No, I didn't get money back. I complained to the GP manager, never went anywhere. Yeah, that's it, guys. If this was a private, look, guys, I don't want to keep talking about the NHS. I am going to pin this because it's really relevant. if this was a private company and what happened to Dodd, like, let's just, you know what, guys, let's just say that this wasn't an NHS thing, right? Let's just say this was a mechanic, a car. Let's just say this was a car, right? This was a problem with your car, all right? If you went into a mechanic and he said you've got a problem with your car and it's going to cost X, Y, and Z, and you're like, really? And then you paid them and it turned out not to be the problem, you would expect some sort of refund, wouldn't you? You would expect some sort of refund. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen, guys, if you've not done so already, can you please do the buttons, guys? Can you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us on X, guys, all right? Remember, this channel, us, our little group, our little team, our little unit, we are consistently months and months in front of the mainstream media, guys, all right? So if you want to know what's happening, if you want tomorrow's news at today's prices, get yourselves following, get yourselves liking, get yourselves subscribing, guys. I really do appreciate it. I just dropped I did a subscribers video to you guys earlier. The reason I have to do those subscribers videos, and they have to be subscribers videos, you guys have seen how many videos I get taken down, how many live streams I get banned. I have to do those videos out to subscribers. So if you guys watch that subscribers video and it resonates with you, please share the message with your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, the news of the day: the police are not ready for the summer of unrest. Now, they're calling it the summer of unrest. I don't know where this phrase has come from, guys, the summer of unrest. I've been talking about the summer of carnage for a long time. I do think they're watching me. I really do, guys, okay? So I'll just read you the headline from GB News. Police not ready for a second summer of unrest. As epic chaos dubbed signal flare for more protests. This is what I've been talking about, guys. The police are in a really difficult position now. The government are in a difficult position. Do they publicly say? Do the police come out and publicly say, yeah, we're closing that hotel down? If they do, that's the green light for all the other hotels. And if they don't, then that's just going to grow worse and worse. And then it's a really difficult position, guys. If you're a police officer right now, and again, and I do think what they're signaling here, you've got to follow the breadcrumbs, guys. Okay. And I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you right now, lad. And I'm saying this to you guys right now. This here is the precursor for military, guys, okay? This is the precursor for getting boots on the ground, actual military now. Because we've got the police, this lady, Tiff Lynch, she's the head of the Police Federation. She's actually warning that police were being pulled in every direction, saying commanders were forced to choose keeping the peace at home or plugging national gaps. And this is where it's going to happen, guys, all right? At some point, somebody's going to come up with a bright idea and they're going to go. And again, I think this is all already planned. What about private security? What about private security? Yeah. Why don't we employ people who've got SIA licenses to be private security? And then if anything bad happens, we can slope his shoulders onto that private security company. You see where we're going with that, guys? You see where we're going with that? This has happened quite a few times. I mean, if you use the Middle East model, so I don't know if you guys know this or not. In the Middle East, there was what happened is the military moved in initially, and then the military came back, and then they placed private security contractors in their place, pretty much doing the exact same job. But if something went wrong, the governments could blame the private security companies. If they had fatalities, those fatalities did not go. They're not losing any soldiers. They're losing contractors, civilian contractors, and we don't know who civilian contractors are. So it gets very murky, guys. It gets very murky. And I do think it's all about plugging gaps right now. And guys, listen, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. All my videos are public record now. I can't say something now. I can't, when I'm talking about these things, and I said, yeah, guys, we've already talked about this, I can't, all my videos are out there and people will call me out straight away. So mark this video, ladies and gentlemen, mark this video, mark this phrase. Remember me saying this to you now. This is how it will start. There will be a time maybe this year, maybe next year, I think probably next year, but the conversation will lead to a crescendo, will lead to a natural point where people will say, yes, we need to have private security in support of the police. These private security, a lot of these guys won't speak English as their first language. You see where I'm going with that? Now, these private security, it will be hailed a success. These guys will just be there to act as eyes and ears and to provide surveillance, and if something does happen, they get on the radio and they call a real police officer. That's how it will start. And the example I'm giving you guys, and it seems all fun, and it seems all great. It does, it seems great. These things are always pitched in a good method. It will be, this is the example I give, guys, it will be the scenario where the police will say something like, we will send out and we will deploy private security if there is, for example, a burglary, a reported burglary in place at an industrial complex. We'll send the private security out, and if there is a burglary going on, the private security will phone up the police, and that will happen. And then the next thing that will get developed will be, well, do you know what? To make more cuts, to make things more efficient, what we're going to do, we're going to give those we're going to give those private, well, it should be, maybe it is, maybe that was a Freudian slip, or maybe it was a purpose slip. We are going to give those private security companies, we're going to let them have legally powers of detention. No, this is not powers of arrest. This is not powers of arrest. Only the police. Only the police can't have the powers of arrest. So don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. We're just giving these private security companies the power of detention. Oh, right, okay, yeah, but that's not like the powers of arrest, because, they'll pitch it like this, saying, well, they can do that anyway, because anyone can do a citizen's arrest if they see, if they see a crime being committed. What we're going to do is we're going to give the private security a little bit more of an official remit, and we're going to give them a little bit more training, so they can be above board and operate within the law. What do you think, guys? There's a question for the chat, like a question for you guys in the chat. Like, if you were detained by a private security company, would you think that was an arrest, or would you go, oh no, they've not read me my rights, I've not been arrested, I've just been detained? So, like, where do you see what's coming, guys? And listen, mark this video, ladies and gentlemen, because that will happen at some point in the future, guys. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words. Right, Dodds Bright saying, Sean, I think you will be invited onto GB News one day as a guest. I don't know, guys. I think I ruin it for myself by talking about aliens. I think I do. I think I ruin it for myself by talking about aliens. Debbie Dubes is saying the security in the hotels don't speak good English. Yeah, they don't, do they? It does seem like English is a second language. Maybe all these migrants are the security, saying Debbie Dubes. Debbie Dubes, that would be a conspiracy theorist, Debbie Dubes. But you know what, guys? Listen, I'm not taking anything off the cards, ladies and gentlemen. I remember when you guys were sending me messages saying, Sean, are the government shipping in thousands of foreign soldiers and putting them in hotels secretly? I was like, no, guys, that's ridiculous. Turns out, yeah, I was wrong. Turns out I was wrong. So that is the news of the day, guys. Okay, the police are not ready for a second summer of carnage. Couple of comments on YouTube, guys. No comment on X. Linda is saying media not reporting on the actual issue and holding the government to account, though. The real issue here, guys, is people are angry. That's the real issue. People are angry. And rather than deal with the problem, people are dealing with the symptom. You know where I'm going with that? So right now, if the government wanted to stop all these protests, close all the hotels, remove those people from the country, say, thank you very much, off you go. That's it, done. No more protests. Everybody's happy. But instead, they spend millions and billions, I would say, on investigating what the problem is. Then in a year's time, they get a white paper. That white paper says what we all knew it said. And then they have to put legislation in place. And the whole thing takes forever. Thank you, Anna Cool for subscribing. Thank you so much for your subscription, Anna Cool. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all subscribers. Guys, listen, I just did a subscribers video, and I'm going to do the reason I have to do those subscribers videos. You guys have seen how many videos I get taken down, how many live streams I get banned. I have to do the subscribers only videos because some of the stuff I mention in those subscribers videos, it would get that video taken down. Nobody would see it, and then that doesn't really help anyone else, really help anyone out. So what I will say, guys, is if you watch a subscribers only video and it resonates with you, I know you can't share them because they're subscribers only, but like try and repeat that message to your friends and family and get this message out there, guys. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are rolling we are going at least a month in front of everyone else. And Anna Cool says, thanks, Sean, it's just Anne. Okay, Anne, thank you very much. Mama Bear over on YouTube is saying, surely the police have mothers, wives, girlfriends, and children. I think a lot of them will stand down before. Yeah. So Mama Bear is saying something I've said a few times. Hang on, guys. This may be no, it's not. I've said this a few times, guys. You know, when the first protests in Epping, when I was watching those first protests, and when I was watching the first protests in Epping, I made a video. I said, guys, look, I'm looking at the body language of these police officers, and I think some of these guys are ready to put down their shields. I do. They look very sympathetic to the crowd. And as Mama Bear over on YouTube is saying, surely the police have mums, wives, girlfriends, and children. Yeah, they do. But what happened then? The next protest that happened in Epping, it was a totally different set of police. It was the police that were there on the first protest. They were not the police that were there in the second protest. The police that were there on the second protest, they were a lot better trained. They had a lot better kit and equipment, public order response. So what I believe will have happened is those police, the initial police, will have been stood down, and a new unit will have been brought in. I don't know where this unit's brought from. I can't tell by the numbers or anything. But some people were saying to me that they've seen Norfolk police on the riot vans and stuff. So I don't know where these police are getting shipped in from. What we do know is they're getting shipped in from outside. And again, as the article says here in GB News, the police are not ready for a second summer of unrest. Again, I think they're copying my videos, guys. I'm calling it the summer of carnage. I'm still going to call it the summer of carnage because that's what I believe is coming. She said it would be comical if it wasn't so serious and so familiar. Local commanders are once again being forced between keeping the peace at home or plugging national gaps. The warning comes after Essex police came under fire after their handling of the Epping protest. Guys, listen, she's also saying it would be dangerous to assume office. Here's the thing, guys, okay? This is the big thing here, guys, okay? So this woman, she is who's talking, she's saying it would be dangerous to assume, which I'm not assuming because I know they can't, it would be dangerous to assume officers would be able to hold the line if violent riots and unrest continue to spread throughout the summer. How many times have I said that, guys? Literally verbatim, those words, I've said that. They just don't have the numbers, guys. So what I think this article is talking about, and what I think the direction of travel here is, it's got to be a military deployment, guys. The military, the army are the go-to people at this pace, but can you imagine how far things will have fallen? And it's a massive, the optics of that, guys, are unbelievable. The optics are unbelievably bad. But if we consider ideological subversion, guys, that is exactly the process and the footsteps that ideological subversion would lead us into. Lincolnshire Templar is saying, is your phone next to your router? No, I'm not on my phone. I'm on my computer. And my computer is I don't know. No, the router's up there. No, I'm nowhere near the router. My computer is near another computer, and I've got like 3 computers now because I am triple streaming, ladies and gentlemen. Right, okay, guys, it does look like ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on X or YouTube, it does look like the sound quality is up and down. What I will say is that sound quality, if it's the signal, guys, it's the internet. What I will say is just as a quick one on the sound quality, that will get better, and this video will upload in 4K once the hang on, do you know what? I'll move that away and see if that helps. Let me move that away from there. Give me a second. Right. If it all goes off, it's because I've dropped my computer. Right, I'm balancing my computer at the edge of my desk now because it's away from the other computer. But yeah, with the sound quality, guys, sometimes the internet it's never been right. The internet, just quickly, guys, we had a car crashed into like the internet box like months ago. So down the road, and the internet has never been right since. Anyway, so but when I'm streaming, we are triple streaming, guys, on YouTube, X, and TikTok. On YouTube and X, the software that I'm using will record in 4K, and that will put everything back, and everything will get recorded on 4K. KK is saying the army would only be brought in to protect property or terrorism. I don't believe the UK would ever use its army against its people. Well, actually, KK, the military, the military have already this happens already in Northern Ireland. So the framework. So the framework here, guys, for the military to be brought in support of the police. I mean, this happened in the 2012 Olympics, right? The military were brought in. To support the police. Now, what that does is that bolsters the police. So you would have, and again, this is how it operated in Northern Ireland, and I'm going to assume that this is how it would operate here as well. The military would be brought in, and you would have a group of 12 police officers. That 12 police officers may be reinforced with 30 soldiers. The police officers would still be in charge, but those soldiers would be in support of those. So that's what it would be. And KK is saying the army would only be brought in to protect property or the other thing that starts with T and ends in ism. And she's saying, I think it's a she, I don't know, it might be a he. I don't believe the UK would ever use its own army against its people. Well, it wouldn't be using the army against its people. It would be using the army as crowd control. You'd be using the army as additional, as a force multiplier. And again, when we're saying that we don't believe this would ever happen, it's already, it's already happening. It's already happened, and it's, and it's and the legislation is well within place for that. And then KK again, he's jumping up and saying for special events, yes, but it wouldn't change the idea of democracy if it used it against the public routinely. I'm a she to confirm. Okay, KK. Okay, right. So listen, guys. Okay, so KK. And anybody who, listen, guys, anybody who thinks that the military won't be brought in to bolster the police, it already happens all the time, and not at special events. In Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, the military routinely support the police. I can remember I don't know what the operational name was for the Northern Ireland. Was it Op Banner? Maybe it was Op Banner. I don't know. But the mission of Op Banner was to support and assist the police service, the RUC, or the police service Northern Ireland, for subsequent operations or something like that. That was the mission. So the mission of this deployment, all the legislation is already there in place. All the legislation is already there in place for the military to support the police, guys. That's already there. and it already happens. So it already happens in Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. So there would be it wouldn't have to go to there wouldn't have to be a vote. There wouldn't have to be a discussion about it in there wouldn't have to be a discussion about it in Parliament or anything. Right, let me jump up, guys, and get these comments. A couple of comments have jumped up on TikTok. Snowdrops is saying Essex police have issued a dispersal order in Epping. Right, okay, that's interesting. Let me just Google this, guys. Okay? Right, I can't find anything here, guys. I can't find. Oh, here we are, guys. I've got this from Harlow. From your Harlow. Very strange. I've had to look for an. Right. So, police put dispersal orders across Epping on Thursday. A dispersal order will be put in place tomorrow to ensure our community in Epping is safe, Essex Police say. The order, which is in place from 2 p.m. Thursday until 8 a.m. on Friday, covers areas including the... Right, guys, yeah, here's the spark. This is the spark, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, this is being handled very badly. So who gave me that comment? Right, Snowdrops, thank you for that comment. Buddy. I have been looking for this sort of stuff. I can't find it, but thank you so much for putting me onto that. So, guys, listen, a dispersal order has been issued for Epping today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what Spark looks like, this is it. So now, those people who are going to Epping, they're still going to go. But the problem is now, there's a dispersal order in place. So that gives the police powers to, it gives the police, I believe it gives the police more powers of arrest at that area. So I still think the protests are going to go ahead. I still think people are going to turn up. But now what we understand is, things are going to turn ugly, guys, okay? I think things are going to turn ugly. This dispersal order, the wrong... Do you know what? Again, I'm putting myself in the... guys, listen, I'm just putting myself in the position now of the police, right? So I'm sat here, and I can see the direction this is going. I can see the direction that this is going. We can see this in real time. But now I'm thinking, right, put yourself in that position, Sean. Put yourself in that position. You're there at that command center. You know it's going to kick off. What tools do you have at your disposal? So, yeah, the police have to do this. I guess the police have to do it. Really, they do. It's going to make things worse. But they don't have any other choice. They don't have any other choice because things are getting worse anyway. So now they have to give themselves, I don't know what, I'm pretty sure a dispersal order gives the police more powers of arrest. So I think the powers of arrest normally would be, I don't know, X, Y, and Z. When a dispersal order is in place, those powers of arrest may only be, you may only have to satisfy X. The order, which is in place from 2 p.m. on Thursday, yeah, we said that, 2 p.m. on Thursday, it covers areas including the town centre, transportation hubs and networks such as the tube station. So, does that mean you're not allowed to, use transport links? Is that what we're talking about? Oh, here we are, guys, sorry. It gives police officers the power to direct anyone suspected of committing antisocial behaviour or planning to do so to leave the area or face arrest. Right, okay. So I think the definition, guys, we need to get legal people down there. If you're a legal, and I mean a barrister now. I don't mean a barrack room lawyer. I mean if you're an actual barrister, I don't know if that black belt barrister, that guy black belt barrister, he seems pretty cool. So if somebody could comment on this, guys, who's got more understanding of the legal system than me, I think. As we're talking about here, guys, I'm just looking at the wording. It gives officers the power to direct someone suspected of committing antisocial behaviour. So what would be the definition of antisocial behavior, and what would be the suspicion? How would you suspect someone of doing that or planning to do so? So really, like, to me, that is pretty much gloves off. That is like anyone. Like, I can suspect I'm going to commit, I can suspect I'm going to commit some antisocial behavior in the next 10 seconds. Right, I haven't done it, so I was wrong, but I still suspected I was going to do it. So it doesn't really, this gives the police quite a lot of powers, actually. Chief Superintendent Simon Anslow said, "We have identified a small group of people who are intent on committing antisocial behaviour, which is not acceptable. Where there has been previous protest activity, we have seen a sustained antisocial behaviour in addition to any disorder that we have dealt with. This order will not prevent lawful..." Right, so this order will not prevent lawful protest and peaceful protest. And look, guys, when people try and label people as the far right. And look, guys, I was there, man. I saw it with my own eyes. I was there. I did see, like, when we was at the protests in Rotherham last year, there was a small group of far right, and that's what all the cameras went on to. That is what all the cameras will go to, and that's what will be spread out. Like, if that doesn't happen, and it's just nanans holding banners and people being peaceful, how can they label that as far right? Unless we say nanans are far right. Listen, if you knew my nanan, you might be questioning that. But you see where I'm going with this, guys. I do think at this time, like, peaceful protest is more sustained peaceful protest, guys. Sustained peaceful protest. I do think that is the way ahead. I really do, guys. Sustained peaceful protest. Right, guys. Quite a few comments just jumped up on. TikTok. Right, Snowdrop said, "I saw it on GB News." Right, I've been searching all over GB News and I've not seen it. Google is saying no one is going to listen to it. So, guys, listen. Remember the dispersal order. The dispersal order does not stop peaceful protest, guys. Okay, it does not stop peaceful protest. So if you're going to go down there or peaceful protest, I say, you know what, guys, more power to you. Google is saying they can't arrest all the population of Epping. Oh, I don't know. Maybe with the military they could try. Debbie Doobs is saying they can't arrest everyone. Dodgeborough is saying, what numbers are expected at Epping tonight? It must be big for the police to do this. I don't know what the numbers are, but I do think the numbers are going to be considerably more. The numbers are going to be considerably more at the weekend. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I didn't get this wrong. I didn't get it wrong. What I said is the summer of carnage is going to be, it's really going to start ratcheting it up when the kids are off school and when the mums and dads are off work. Our girls broke up on, where we live, everybody broke up on Friday, but as I understand it, it's like a staggered breakup for the summer holidays. So where we live, everybody broke up on Friday, some people breaking up on Wednesday, and some people are breaking up like tomorrow, this Friday. So this weekend, essentially, this weekend, guys, is going to be the first weekend. Again, I might even be wrong with that. Some people may be breaking up afterwards. But this weekend is going to be the first weekend where everybody's broke up for the summer holidays. Again, I may be wrong with that, but guys, but you understand that direction of that direction of travel. Debbie Doobs is saying, how can you impose a dispersal order before there's people to disperse? I don't know, Debbie. I don't know. I think they're just, I think they're just ticking the boxes. Google it is saying we are turning into China. Yeah, it's not going to be long, guys. You know when we've all got, listen, guys, let me pin this. So can you imagine now, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine right now if we've all got that, the payment app on our phone and we're all taking in universal basic income and we're all having like £1,600 a month going to our accounts? Can you imagine then if, can you imagine the government then if they say, right, everybody who was seen at this protest, we're turning your universal basic income off because that was an illegal protest. Like, oh, can you see how easy you can control people? You can do it with literally. We will have computers controlling us, guys. Listen, sometimes I just want to go and hide in the woods and forage and make a little community. Right, Debbie, right, guys, listen. So So this dispersal order, right? Let me read you this again. Look, guys, I am by no means a legal expert. I'm reading what I'm getting on here, guys. Okay. So this dispersal order gives officers the power to direct anyone suspected of committing antisocial behaviour or planning to do so to leave the area or face arrest. Doesn't stop protesting. It doesn't stop people moving about. It doesn't stop people going to the hotel. All it does is give police more powers of arrest. So the police can arrest someone now if they suspect that they're going to commit. If the police come, so basically, if the police suspect someone's going to do something, they can arrest them. This is what I'm reading this now, guys. All right. Whereas before, the police would have to, actively know that someone's have evidence that someone's committed a crime. So that's what this dispersal order is, guys. It's just more powers of arrest for the police. But listen, guys, if you're going there and you're planning on a peaceful protest, I don't think you've got anything to worry about. I really don't. Google it is saying probe launched into asylum seeker use of cards for gambling. Are we not allowed to play cards now? I don't know how that works. 4 Paws is saying keep tapping the screen, guys. It helps. Debbie Doobs is saying, wonder if they've replaced all this wing mirrors on the police vans. Yeah, guys, look, I think I should say this every live. I think I should say this, guys, okay? I'm pro-police. I'm pro-police, guys. I'm pro-military. I've got a long background in the military and in support of the police. I'm pro-government. Yeah, I am. I'm pro-government. I'm pro-strong police. I'm pro-strong military. I'm pro-strong government. What we have at the moment, I would say, that strength is lacking in certainly more than a few of those areas. So when I talk about this, guys, I often put myself in that position of the police officers. Put yourself, imagine you're in command of that scenario, and you're sat there in Epping. They've probably got teams just off the motorway on the M25, on the M11, and those teams, as things progress, will be moving closer and closer in. And you've got to understand how these things are. You've got to understand how these things work, right? Those commanders, those police chiefs on the ground, they've got a job to do. Whether they like it or not, that's their job, and they have to do that job. I do think, ladies and gentlemen, the time is coming. The time is coming where the police are just going to put their shields down and say, you know what, I'm good. Because ultimately, guys, those police officers have to look at their kids. Like, guys, listen, if you're a police officer, or you know someone in the police, just go and ask them this question. Tell them, go and give them, say, get your pay slip. I don't know maybe it's online. I don't know. Get your pay slip in one hand. Right? Get your pay slip in one hand. Open it up. I don't know how it works. Open it up. Maybe it's digital. Maybe you're looking at it on your phone now. Look at that. Look at your pay slip in one hand, and look at your kids while they're asleep in the other hand. And just think to yourself, which one's more important? Like, which one is more important? Right. Let me jump up and get these questions, guys. Linda Lou saying this is still going to trigger anger in the protest. Yeah, guys, it is gonna cause anger. It is gonna cause protest, guys. It is. Snowdrops is saying, calling it the summer of unrest on GB News, Sean. I'm sure they've been watching you. Yeah, I think they have as well. Sharon Owen is saying Epping is peaceful until the paid actors are brought in. So what we're talking about is the paid actors, the these people who are, these people who are paid to bring in, I mean, we know that these guys are paid. I've spoken about it. Obviously, I can't, listen, guys, first of all, right, I need to be careful with my wording, all right? I can't confirm or deny if these people get paid because I've got no evidence. What I do know is looking at those people they all have the same placards. That means that somebody has been paid to do those. So the money's coming from somewhere. They're funded from somewhere. Coral reefing, just to go off, coral reefing, sorry, just to go off Sophie, but what is a good weight in kilos? What is a good weight, kg and kilos to try later? Oh, right, okay. So I'm assuming coral reefing's going for a run. I don't know coral reefing. I don't know. It depends where you want to go and how far you want to go. I would say, I don't know if you're just starting. Guys, listen, if you're just starting with fitness, I would say whatever you're doing, make it enjoyable, all right? Make it enjoyable. If you go out there and you absolutely blast yourself and, you're on your hands and knees crawling back and there's claret everywhere, you're crying, you've had 3 epiphanies, you've discovered fire and your meaning of life has totally changed. Maybe you should do that more often. Maybe that's not the right way to start fitness. Have fitness enjoyable so you'll want to do it again. So coral reefing, I would say a lightweight, I don't know, maybe just go with, if you want to go weighted, go go 5 kilos and 5 kilos at 5 kilometers. Time yourself how long it took you to carry 5 kilometers around 5 kilometers, 5 kilometers. How long it took you to carry 5 kilo? I forgot again. How long it took you to carry 5 kilograms around 5 kilometers, and then the next time you do it, try and get a little bit faster until you're happy with the speed, and then up the weight. That's how you do it, guys. It's all about fitness. It's all about making it enjoyable, guys. All right, making it enjoyable. You've got to make it enjoyable, otherwise you won't do it again. And whether that's doing it slower, because if you do it slower, but you enjoy it, you will get fitter quicker in the long term. Yeah, if you want to blast yourselves for I don't know, if you're doing selection or something and you want to blast yourself for 3 months, absolutely fine. Go with that. You peak and then you'll trough. If you want to make that fitness enjoyable, that will be a way of life. That will be something that you enjoy doing. You're out running, you're out on the hills, whatever it is for you, whatever works for you. That's what I would say. Anyway, that was just a bit of fitness advice, I guess. Yeah, Snowdrops is saying again, I'm just going to repeat this again because the GB News are calling it the summer of unrest. I've been calling it a long time, the summer of carnage. I do think people are watching this channel, guys, and if they are watching, hi. Googly is saying the Home Office has launched an investigation into asylum seeker payment cards after data showed some had been misused for gambling. Who would have thought it, guys? Who would have thought it that free money is getting used in just probably not where they thought it was going to be used? Coral Reefing is saying that's why the lefty actors are there, sitting ducks when it does clash, they can bring in the army. Sharon Owen is saying, what about JD Sports having them each a £200 voucher? Oh, I don't know, Sharon. I know I haven't been given a £200 voucher from JD Sports. I mean, do you know what, actually? Who shops in JD Sports now, guys? I went to that one the other day, JD Sports. I was looking around it. I was just thinking, only idiots shop here, guys. Only idiots shop in JD Sports. Yeah, I threw that out there, guys. Get yourself to Sports Soccer or Sports Direct. That's much better. Southampton, Snowdrops is saying Southampton were protesting yesterday. Yeah, guys, this is just going to... Hang on, guys. I've got to swizzle the dizzle. There we go. These protests are going to spread, guys. We can see them spreading. We can see the direction of travel, and they're a lot more sustainable. So remember what I just said about fitness. It's got to be sustainable. These protests at local level, they are sustainable. When there's a big protest in London, and everybody goes down to London and they're waving the flags and everything, those things are not sustainable. You maybe get 1, 2 a year, the big ones, but they're not sustainable. Southampton protesting was very peaceful yesterday in London until the actors came along from what I saw on the live streams. Yeah, these live streams, ladies and gentlemen, and social media, this is a key. This is a key tool. How do I put this? It's a key tool, but you've got to understand how it works. You've got to understand how it works. Whoever controls those algorithms controls what you see. I'm just going to leave it there, guys. I'm just going to leave it there. Google is saying, use the NHS as usual, junior doctors strike. Oh, guys, I mean, like, how much money do these doctors actually want? You know, when you leave university, like, you don't automatically get a massive paying job. You have to work. You have to work your way up. You have to pay your dues. You have to pay you have to show that your competence level is high. Debbie Doogs is saying there's calculations online to calculate your zone 2 heart rate. I don't know what that means. Debbie Doogs. Oh, right. We're talking about fitness, guys. Right. Okay. We're talking about fitness, right? All right, guys. Sorry. I do apologize. Linda Lou saying, I practiced getting up the stairs. I've done it twice now, broken a hip last year. Look, guys, fitness is about whatever, fitness is about whatever level you're at. Keep pushing it, guys, all right? Keep pushing. Whether it's like my friend, for example, he's just had an operation on his knee. He's really he's struggling to walk. So for him, getting up the stairs is a big thing. But you know what? Over time, you get better at it. Then you can't assume he'll be running up the stairs. And Dodsbra is saying, hundreds of viewers constantly on your TikTok live now, Sean. Great to see you. Deserve it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And with that bombshell, guys, I am going to close this down. Oh, Thailand bombs Cambodia with F-16s. Right, I didn't see that one coming. I guess that, I should probably do a standalone video on that, guys. Thailand and Cambodia, they do have hostilities, guys. They do have hostilities on that border. It would make sense that another what's the word I'm looking for? Another conflict zone would open up, and maybe this is it. I don't know. I would certainly suspect it's got all the hallmarks. Ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, the Epping protests have proved. Now this is not my speculation, my analysis, or my opinion. This is me giving you the dilly swizzle from GB News now, guys, okay? I've been calling this the summer of carnage. Looks like the mainstream media are calling this the summer of unrest. I'm still calling it the summer of carnage because I was talking about it first. The police are not ready for a second summer of unrest, as Epping chaos dubbed a signal flare for more protest. I've been saying this, guys, over a month ago, okay? People will be watching on social media. Kids are off school, mums and dads are off school. People are looking at these videos and thinking, well, do you know what? We should probably go and do a protest outside our hotel. And this is where it's going to happen. There will be a flashpoint, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be a flashpoint whereby a migrant runs out with something in his hand and hurts somebody. There will be something will happen, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be the flashpoint. That will be the defining moment of the summer. But let me just go down here, guys, and get you. So this is a statement from a lady called Tiff Lynch, who's the head of the Police Federation. So this is what she's saying, not me, ladies and gentlemen. This is not my speculation, my analysis, or my opinion. This is Tiff Lynch, who is the head of the Police Federation. And she's saying it would be dangerous to assume officers would be able to hold the line indefinitely if violent riots and unrest continue to spread throughout the summer. I've been warning about this, ladies and gentlemen, the summer of carnage. It is here. I think we're going to there's going to be a flashpoint. I think a flashpoint will come where it will be at somewhere that's not on the radar right now. It will be, in my head, I'm thinking it might not be this, but there will be a flashpoint somewhere that's not on the radar right now. And it could be, I'm not saying it is going to be because obviously I don't have a crystal ball, but it could be something like A protest at a migrant hotel. The police don't turn up because they're busy with something else, like we've just said here. The people inside that hotel take it on themselves to come out and start being aggressive. Then you're going to see something. You're going to see a flashpoint happen. It may not happen in that exact way, it may happen something slightly different, but we are going to see a flashpoint, guys, at some point, and that is going to be the call to arms. That is going to be the ignition. I might be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I might be wrong, but mark this video and we can look back on it and see how well it ages. Sharon Owen is saying they definitely watch you. Victoria Derbyshire interviewed Virus Geezer and said they watch him. Google is just saying Sean. Google is just saying Sean. I don't know what that means. Pro-migration escorted by the police is funded by trade unions. Yeah. You've got to follow the money, guys. I don't have the capacity sat here. I don't have the capacity to go and investigate where this money comes from, but follow the money. Look where they get their funding from, guys. And I would say, oh, hang on. Wow. Wow, I'm just going to pin that there, what Google is saying, and then I'm going to close that down because that beggars belief. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back on around 8 o'clock. We'll be focusing on what's happening in Epping. Remember, there's a dispersal order in Epping. That dispersal order does not mean that you cannot go to that area. That dispersal order, all it means is if the police believe you're violent, then they've got enhanced powers of arrest. If you're going down there and you're going to be peaceful, guys, I don't think you've got anything to worry about. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you guys down now on TikTok. I'll be over on YouTube for a couple of minutes, and then I'll be gone like the snow from yesteryear. And we are off. I think we're off anyway. I think we're off. Right. Do I need to click any buttons on this screen? No, I do not. So I can close that one. I can click that one. Right. We are just streaming on YouTube and X. So welcome, YouTube and X gang. Right. Let me jump into some of these comments. Air Hammond is saying like and subscribe. Yeah, guys, could you do that? Do me a real big favor, guys. It really helps me out on this channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Can you like and subscribe and comment and the bell notifications for the YouTube down below, guys? Can you do all that stuff? Because it really helps me out when you do that. And it's just a little finger for you guys. It's just a little finger touch. It's just a little finger, and it means so much to me, guys. And I would really appreciate your little touches of that screen. KK is saying, thank you for another interesting live. Many topics covered and ideas shared. Have a nice day, everyone, and stay safe. Make good decisions. You know what? Yeah, make good decisions. People don't say that enough. I think everybody should make good decisions. In our little family unit, we always say, one of the things we always say, make the right decision. Now, whatever that right decision is, because sometimes you may want to do something, but that may not be the right decision. So always think, right, there's a decision I want to make, and there's the decision that is the right decision. And those two things don't always align. Oh, guys, I don't mind tagging and sharing and everything, guys. So please tag me, please share, please do all those things, guys, that help this channel grow. Because every time you tag me in something, every time you share something, it does help the channel grow, guys. It does help the channel grow. Air Hammond is saying, I'm lazy, had to run about 500 yards for a train out of nowhere. Next day, my Achilles went ping. Perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect example why everybody needs to get their fitness up. Yes, everybody wants to do like the Ironman competitions, and everybody wants to have this like chiseled body and all these beach muscles. The reality is, guys, all right, get your cardio up. It's the biggest thing that you can do. It really is, guys. Get your cardio up. I met people who are, got massive gym muscles, but they can't run and their cardio is terrible. So, like in Air Hammond's, how did that go? Air Hammond saying he had to run for a train. Whether you have to run for a train, run after your kids, run for something, run away from something, being fitter is always better. I don't know what circumstances being unfitter would be better. I certainly can't think of one. So just maybe it's just starting going out walking, guys. Start going out walking. Walk a little bit faster. Use the same route. Okay, there's a reservoir near where you live. Maybe there is. Maybe they're all closed down now. Walk around the reservoir, see how long it takes you to walk around and think, right, that's my benchmark. The next time I'm going to walk around it, I'm going to try and walk around it a little bit faster. And what you'll find over time is you'll find, right, okay, I know at that park bench, I should be at like 7 minutes. I got to that park bench last time I did this at 7 minutes. Wow, I'm at 6 minutes now. I'm clearly getting fitter. Right, that, what are those like rigs called? Those life boys or something? I don't know. Right, when I got to that life boy last time, I was at 18 minutes. I'm at 15 minutes now. Wow, I'm doing better. And then you get round, you look at your overall time, and you've shaved a few minutes off. You're like, wow, do you know what? Next time I'm gonna go, I'm gonna walk a little bit, then do a little bit of a trot, and then walk a little bit, then do a little bit of a trot. And over time, guys, you will build it up. But the main thing with fitness is you've got to make it enjoyable. I can remember, guys, coming back from summer leave in the army, and you would all stand there in the corridor, and you've just been like eating and drinking for a month, and you're like, oh no, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. This is going to hurt. And the PTI would come out, and he'd be like, right, lads, going for a little short and sharp 6 miler. Aye, won't be long, about an hour, we'll get back. Aye, nice and easy. Couple of hill reps in the way, and then we'll be back. And you're like, oh no. And that PTI, all that PTI has done, while I've been at home on leave, eating and drinking, that PTI has just been running the same route over and over and over again. And then you get back and he's gone. Yeah, but that doesn't really raise your morale. If you do fitness, guys, all right, make it enjoyable. You're more likely to do it again. Coastal and countryside drones is saying, coastal and countryside drones, what drones do you use, mate? Are you using like civilian DJIs, or are you using like are you using something different? A mate of mine's daughter was at a park, and one of the boat peoples was talking to her, and yeah, it's disgusting, guys, isn't it? It's disgusting. Dads need to stand up. Dads need to go over there, and you don't have to be rude. You don't have to do anything. You just like question these people. Say, excuse me, why are you in the park? Why are you in the park taking pictures? Take a picture of them and say you're going to send it to the police. They probably won't come back again. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn this off now. Guys. Get yourselves out running. I want to see young people out running, guys. Groups of 3, groups of 4. Young lads going out running on their own, guys. I think it's fantastic when I see that, all pushing each other, all building off each other. Once you get those little units, you can build those as, you can use those as building blocks. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna close this down now. We've got lots to do. Got to go make some birthday presents. And I'll see you later on today at 8 when we're going to be talking about the new EPIN protest and the dispersal orders. If I can turn it off, hang on.